it's such a broad industry. Like when you walk into a store, you are seeing the tip of the iceberg. Even in the biggest store, the sex toy industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's so many different companies. Now we're having monopolies within the sex toy industry because companies have started forming conglomeration.
Who the f*** am I to tell you what to do with your money? My name is Priya Milani, currently managing millions of hardworking dollars. Enough foreplay. Let's talk money. Welcome to the F word. Smart money. No bull. Okay, confession time. We talk to high earners every day who feel like they might be behind with their money. If that's you, you're probably not behind, but you do need a plan. Visit stashwealth.com and our fiduciary advisors will help you build one. Back to the episode. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about two very emotionally charged topics, money and sex. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better person to have this conversation with than my guest today. You've seen her on the Netflix Emmy-nominated show, The Principles of Pleasure. And if you've ever walked into Shag in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, for those of you who are local, you might have actually left with a toy that she personally recommended. I'm very, very excited to introduce you to the incomparable Dirty Lola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Brand new year, brand new mindset.
Totally. This is going to be fun. I really hope we can unlock all kinds of things for people today. Let's just start with something as simple as, how did you get your name, Dirty Lola?
It was an accident. It was Dirty Lola literally came from back in the day. I was trying to find an outlet. I was a bored monogamous housewife at the time, and I just wanted a place to share my old adventures and connect with people. And I joined, at the time it was Twitter, now it's X, but it was Twitter. And I was just trying to figure out a name that nobody would know because I was doing the anonymous thing. And my legal middle name is Lolita. So I was trying all these different versions of things, and Dirty Lola was the only one that wasn't taken. And then who knew that was going to become a brand? So
it's such a good brand and pairs perfectly with your title, Dildo Slinger.
Yes.
I'm sure people are listening are like, wait, am I still on a finance podcast? What is happening? You know, we were talking before we started recording about the numerous parallels between money and sex. We could literally do a series out of this. There's just so much to talk about. I'm really excited to dive into some topics with you today. I know that you spend your life basically helping people feel less shame around sex, whereas I spend mine helping people feel less shame around their money. Both are obviously very taboo topics. They tend to still be taboo topics, I should say, and elicit a lot of shame. So obviously, I know it's a goal of ours to rewire that. And I guess I'd love to start by understanding if you have any theories on why these two topics, or the topic of sex, triggers that reaction, that emotional reaction of shame in people.
I mean, I think for both of them, it's that nobody talks about either of those things growing up, right? Nobody talks about money growing up. It's very rare you hear people say, like, my parents really spent time talking to me about financial literacy, about how to save or the value of money. Usually, maybe if you got an allowance as a kid, you might have learned a little bit, like if you had to spend your own money. But that's a topic no one ever teaches. And then you're suddenly an adult and you feel stupid because you don't know. And the same goes with sex, right? Nobody talks about it. It's very taboo. You might get a little bit of, if you're lucky, you might get a little bit of talking about it in school, but that's usually just talking about STDs and how to not have a baby. And then suddenly you're adult and everybody expects you to know. And I say that from any gender perspective, right? Like, you're supposed to know what you want, how you want it, but how, if you've never learned or had a conversation about it. Like, it's not an inherent thing that you just know. And the same goes with money. So I think they share that. We live in a society that both of these things are very out in the open. We talk about money, we talk about sex, but then there's these low-lying shames when it comes to personally talking about, like, your individual money and sexual experience, it's like, ooh, no, oh, and then comparing yourself to others.
Well said. It's something so simple. The fact that growing up, it's not talked about. And if it is talked about, it's kind of like, oh, we don't talk about that if it
Right.
does come up. Yeah, that is such a good point. And yet, it's such an important part of everyone's life because money and sex is something we obviously interact with as an adult a lot. And so the shame around it actually costs people a lot emotionally, financially. So, where do you start the conversation when you encounter people who feel shame around sex?
Usually that's not even how they broach it, right? Like people don't come in and say like I'm feeling ashamed. I've maybe had one person who's voiced that. Usually you can tell by body language or people are very whispering and it's like it's just me and you, girl. You can talk out loud. You don't have to be quiet. But you can tell when somebody's hesitant to walk in or they've been dragged in by a friend. That happens often, that there's a friend who's like, I'm tired of this, you're coming in, and they're like, oh my God, you see how they react. So my job when people come in is to just kind of make it seem like a normal shopping experience. Like you're at Macy's, like you're at any like shop you would be in. Yes, we have art on the wall, like erotic art on the walls, and there's a wall of toys, but we're also it's just products. So trying to give them that experience that, hi, here, what are your questions or what are you looking for? A lot of the questions that I ask are very product specific to help hone people in on it. And it's not getting into like the salation of it. We can go there if you need to, but usually I'm just like, oh, what's your budget? Are you looking for a particular type? Are you looking, and then sometimes the questions that really get into like, oh, do you know how you orgasm? Like, what are you looking for? Is this for partner play, non-partner play? Those are where we go. But when you start off just kind of like, oh, what are you looking for? And they're just like, I have no idea, there's so much. And you start breaking it down because they have to think about it in these little pieces. It takes away the big scary, like all the sex toys. And I think it also dials back that yes, you're in a sex shop, but it doesn't have to be this hypersexual experience while you're here. This is, sex is just a part of life. Pleasure is a part of life. You deserve it. And it can be thought about in a very methodical way. And when you're in a store, that's what we're doing. We're trying to help you figure something out so you don't go home with something you're not going to enjoy.
You kind of make it feel a little bit more logistical until you read their temperature and figure out where they're at and their comfort level with the conversation. So
Right.
you bring up the topic of budget, which obviously is something I'm very curious about. And actually, originally, when we met, that's where this conversation started. I was like, I wonder how money and sex and like budget plays with people's desire to pleasure themselves. So let's just start with like the beginning. How does budget factor into people's desires?
In a couple different ways. I feel we're moving away from the people who come in and expect to get a giant silicone dildo for $10. Silicone is very expensive. If we're talking about product and weight and the cost of material, silicone is expensive. So when you make something out of it, that item is going to be expensive. It's coming down, so you're seeing the prices for more premium silicone made products coming down, but forever, sex toys were not made with the greatest of materials. So there was a stretch of time where everything was really cheap because everything was cheaply made. Dildos and things were made out of rubber that had phthalates in them because it's a softener. Phthalates are like the stuff you smell when you open a fresh shower curtain. You don't
Okay.
want that in your body, right? And that was what sex toys were for the longest time. We are in a whole new era now, but people who came up in a certain time still have that in their heads of course these things cost $10 because they were rubber, they had chemicals that softened them, they weren't good for your body, like they used to melt and leach out and all this stuff. The vibrators would break, you would just rebuy because they
It
were
was
10
cheap.
$15. It was cheap, it was cheaply made and horribly made. We are so far out of that. There are still some like not as expensive. Those are the ones I call novelty, when they're just like, this is going to break, but if you know that, great. You just want something fun for a little bit, great. We've gotten less people coming in looking for like the cheap thing, or if they are, it's because it's for a gag gift. Like, and I'm just like, this is not a store you're going to find a gag gift
Sure.
in. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
But
It's a
more people,
boutique. I wouldn't call it more than a store. It's like a boutique.
yeah,
Shag
it's a
is.
boutique. It's a boutique. And that's when people come in. I think then there's the, do I have to spend $200 to $300 to have an orgasm? And immediately I'm like, no, no. Now you're gonna have to spend between, I have a few things that are under 50, right? Great training wheel items. And I call them that. I said, these are not things that are going to get you through many years, right? This is something so you can test it out. So you can see if you like the style, the shape of this, so you can start forming an opinion. It's great when somebody doesn't know what they want, right? But when a person comes in and they're really like shopping, and you can tell there are people who are just like, this is going to be the thing and I don't want to have to come back. I really try to push people towards buying something that's going to be sturdy and maybe the mid-range price point, and really talking to them about why things are that like expensive or not expensive. And then when we get to like the 200-300, that's for people who like, I know I like this style, I love this company, I'm loyal to this company, I love their stuff. That's when they want to invest because they have a rapport with it. So it's striking a balance between what do you need and do you need to spend that money right now, being okay with coming back and spending more money. I think that's also the other thing. We get a lot of people who their budget's around between 50 and 80, which you can get a lot between that. But it's, I also tell them like, you're allowed to have more than one toy. If you get home and this isn't the be all end all, but it's okay, but you would like to try something else, come back. You're allowed to spend a little more money on yourself. Or I have people who come in and they did spend the $200 because a friend said it was the best thing they've ever had, and then it didn't work for them. And so now they're angry, right? They're angry that it's a scam. And I'm like, no, that just didn't work for you. And this is why when people say, my friends told me I should get this, I always ask, do you share a vulva? Because if you don't, it doesn't matter. But kind of getting people out of that they've lost money or that they've been scammed out of money because it doesn't work. So those are all, it's all these different swirling conversations around like, is it worth it? But people don't have those thoughts when they're buying groceries or clothing, or because how many people buy clothes online that don't fit and they never send them back?
Valid point.
And they keep shopping at that place. They will have a pile of, and I say this as a person who's bought stuff that didn't quite fit the way I wanted it to, and now it's in a bag to go to charity. So, it's, but people keep shopping. They don't have the same judgment around like those things that they do when it comes to spending money on sex toys.
You think of sex toys as an essential good.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's their pleasure is scientifically proven. It's good for your brain. It's inherently a part of who we are as human beings. You should be able to access it no matter your relationship status, no matter, if you're able bodied, disabled. I believe that it's a right. Pleasure is a right. And that is why we do have a range of products. And I will never tell somebody you must get the $200 thing to have an orgasm. Here's something that I know is great. It's a mid range price. It's going to cost you $50. It's rechargeable. Like, it's got enough bells and whistles. It's going to last you for a little bit. I want you to get the bang for your buck, but also know that if you ever decide, it's okay to not have that one thing be your only thing, and to come back and like explore a little bit more or add to your collection. That I also want people to explore more, because people worry about things like desensitization, and that just comes from your brain getting used to the same toy all the time, every time. If you have different types, that doesn't happen because you need to swap it up. But also, if you're using the same thing all the time, I don't know everybody's habits, but if it's an often used toy, it's going to break sooner. So if you don't give it a break and swap it out for a friend, that is going to be the end of it. It's a piece of machinery,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Do you ever see people come in and they're convinced they're going to get something? I want to understand how money plays a role, like in if they get scared away. Do you see people be like, "Oh, you know what? No, we shouldn't. That's a little too expensive. Let me think about it." What are those moments like?
All the time.
Really good. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's usually the items are, we have a lot of teledildonic toys, which are toys that can talk to your phone from anywhere in the world.
Oh,
So it can
oh,
talk to each other. So Your toy will talk to your phone via Bluetooth, and then your partner phone can talk to your phone to control that toy over Wi-Fi. So it can
Ah,
work no matter where you are as long as you're both on Wi-Fi. That is still an expensive thing. The moment a toy becomes an app-enabled toy, it hikes the price up. There are companies that make toys that can do that. There are on the little bit of a cheaper end, but it's not everybody's aesthetic. But usually, I see this around the couples toys because they're around like 250, and people will come in. They'll know they're looking for something. You should like that kind of that. You show them what it is, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They get so excited, and then they look at the price, and it's sticker
sticker
shock.
shock. Mm,
And I've seen them like him and haw over it, and then they're like, "We'll be back." And
yeah,
I'm like, either people have gone somewhere else. I think people also will shop online and try to shop around and find something else. But
sure.
they will go from so in it to like, ooh, completely cool. And I've had people come back. I've had people like, we thought about it,
Sure.
or one of them will come back and go, I'm just going to get it. It's a gift. It's for us. It's worth it. But people do like say, thank you for your help. And then they go once
Well,
they see prices.
that's like, as I was doing my research, that felt like a very strong parallel. We see a lot of times that people limit themselves in their financial lives without even realizing it. Maybe they're waiting for something, permission, a raise, a partner, a promotion, whatever, some sort of special milestone, to allow themselves a thing. Maybe they say like, oh, I'll hire a cleaning person once I'm making 200,000, or I'll start investing once I'm married. I'm curious if you found that people limit their pleasure, like, oh, I'll buy that toy when, what are they waiting for?
I will say we get so many people who, when they are buying something more expensive, they are letting us know it's a treat. It's my birthday, the holiday. Like right now, we're getting more people who are like, it's a gift, it's a treat, it's a thing. They wait. Part of it is that sometimes they're waiting to see if we have sales. We don't often have sales, but they're waiting to see if there's like a percent off. But it's around feeling like they're allowed. Then when there are people who will come in and spend a lot of money, and they'll just be like, fuck it, you only live once. Like, I wasn't planning on this. I want it. That doesn't happen as often, but it is so weird to see the parallel of the people who are doing it just to do it often have a little, is it guilt? Is it, should I be doing it? It's that moment where they realize, like, I want everything that's on this counter, but she just told me everything costs $500, and they have to like really do like the, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, because they don't have a
Yeah.
reason, right? There's nothing for them to attach it to. They just came in
Okay.
maybe for like one thing and ended up buying all these other things, and so it feels, I guess, kind of hard for them to do it. And when people can attach it to a thing, it feels more like
A
it's
reason.
fine. Yeah, it's a reason.
Okay, quick sidebar. If you've ever seen your paycheck hit your checking account and then thought, where the hell does it all go? You're not alone. In fact, we see it all the time. Go to stashwealth.com and schedule a call. It's time your money starts working as hard as you do. All right, back to the episode.
So let's dive a little deeper into that. For those that can't come up with a reason and do deny themselves sexual pleasure, I want to talk about like what you think is the cost. What is the cost to denying ourselves sexual pleasure? Obviously, for those of you guys listening, this is not a commercial for Shag, but
No, just where I work.
yeah, it just happens to play a nice role in the
Yeah,
storytelling. Yeah, what happens when we deny ourselves and we don't have the partner or what we want, or that we don't have the birthday? We're like, forget it. I don't need it.
yeah.
I don't need that yet.
Ugh. The cost of that is not knowing yourself.
Mm,
I have had many conversations. Usually get like groups. We get like friend groups, whether they're coming in after brunch or just like they passed by, so they stopped. And there's always like two or three people who are gung ho and, oh, I'm looking at everything. I'm gonna buy something. Like we are out. It's a day, and there's always somebody who's just like no, and they have like a reason, and they're trying to talk them into it. That person, when we start, if we have a chance to really start chatting, it just feels like they've been waiting for somebody else to make it happen. right? Like
Mm.
they've been waiting for that right man and waiting for that right, partner. And they don't want, there's something about buying a sex toy that's like feels, I guess, like they're replacing, or they're giving up on waiting for that person, or it's just there's so much where they've resigned themselves to this space of not getting to know who they are because they're hoping somebody else can figure out who they are
Oh,
in that realm. And I've talked to so many people about the value of masturbation in learning about your body, making you a better partner, because if you know how your body works, because we are individuals, everybody's body works differently. We might have some overlap, but when you know how the things that make you tick, you can communicate that. Your partner, when two people meet, it's fun to discover those things, but it's even better. What if you can skip? What if you could tell each other, I love this. I haven't tried that. I would love to explore this. This is something that has worked for me in the past. And not comparing each other to different partners, but saying, like, oh, this is usually how my body works. Not even just buying toys. Like we offer classes, we offer education. When
I
you
was going to
don't take the
ask.
time, yeah, when you don't take that time to learn, it really will do a number on you. And a lot of people are in unhappy relationships because the physical isn't there. So maybe many things are there. I get far too many people, most of them women, but I get men too, who they're like, everything is great except for that. And because that isn't great, it makes me feel miserable.
Mm.
Because and then people feel bad, right? Because they don't want to get a divorce because the sex is bad, but missing out on pleasure and just kind of sitting in this and not experiencing that can do a number on you mentally. So all of that is to say, it's like pleasure saves relationships. Being able to explore new things, being open to those things, and when you know about your body, it makes it easier to ask for what you want. So you're not. I was literally having this conversation with a friend last night, but sex isn't somebody doing something to you. It's a team sport. You should be cooperating in that together. And that's part of what we also talk about when people are buying products is this isn't just for you to lay back. It's like, what do you like? How does this work? Here are all the ways you can use this product together. People don't make people orgasm. It's like, this is a team thing. You have to be there mentally. Your body has to be there. And if you have blocks up for whatever reason, because you've just never explored yourself, you feel shame. That's the other thing. I've had couples come in where one partner is just like, yes, what do you want? Oh, you want this sex swing? And the other person's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, we're here, honey. Your partner wants to buy you like everything in the store. And not because I want you to buy everything in the store, but you still have shame in the person who loves you, but because of religion or whatever, you can't open up to that. I've been in that shop for 12 years and I've seen the life cycle of people. I've watched people meet, date, get married, have kids. I've met their children and their dogs. I've watched people come in, try to explore, and then only one of them comes in because they've gotten a divorce.
Mm.
Like, so I see the repercussions of not being open and not like letting go and trying to experience pleasure and connecting with our partners through pleasure, and how like money could be there, you could have a big house, all these other things. If you don't have that kind of rapport with each other, it's gonna fall apart. And I've seen the good sides of that too, right? Like there's an older couple that comes in and I love it. They play with each other. They're just so playful and funny. And they're always picking stuff up like, we don't have this one. Tell us about it, Lola. They're my favorite people. And I'm like, oh, this is what it is. It's keeping that spirit alive and remembering like that pleasure is a right, and it makes it fun and it keeps your marriage like going. And so seeing all these different things, it's like, yeah, we need this. Everybody needs this in some form.
If that doesn't convince you that depriving yourself of sexual pleasure, the cost is high, I don't know what will. Man, I love that you said it's a team sport and it's not something that's done to you. Obviously, we feel the same way about your financial life. You should partake. You have to be there. You have to be involved to get the most out of it. We all have a little voyeur in us, I think, and you have a front row seat. That is insane.
Yeah. It's general population. It's like people in the wild, and I love it. I love it. It's why I stay, like, as one of my many jobs. I stay there because it's such a good way to get to know people and how people move in the world. And as society changes, we were talking about that before, the changes in society and what things look like now as we see like different relationship types kind of rising up, and people are like, no, we're doing this. And now those people are aging and they're like, okay, how do three people buy a house together? Same
Yeah.
thing when people come in and they're in a relationship with multiple people. There are toys. I'm like, oh, here, this won't be easy to sterilize. Here's how you can sterilize these things if you're sharing. Like, they're an investment, and then it's like, who gets these? There you go.
Who knew you have to have custody talks on your sex toys?
I get a whole lot of people coming in who are rebuying something because they lost it in a relationship.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Oh my God. Do you find that people spend more money when they're drunk? I'm going to guess yes.
Sometimes being drunk can just make them like, I want everything, and then they don't end up picking up much.
Okay.
I think it's more when people honestly are drunk on each other. When someone is coming in and they're shopping for their partner and you can see the twinkle, like they are like, oh, I want to get this and I want to make a night, or they're like, what can I, lingerie, and I want to buy a thing, and oh my God, this would be perfect. And they're putting something together. They're not looking at how much it costs when they're picking stuff up. Sometimes they might get up there and we add everything up and they're like, okay, wait, I might need to take something out, but they're still willing to like spend. They're like, whatever, they're going to do it. When people come in as a couple and they're both very in tune, you see the pile happen, right? I call it they're the love piles. It's just like, can we leave this here? And they just keep bringing stuff back and making it. And sometimes they've talked about it beforehand. They know what they're looking for. They're like, we're coming in, we want to get something in this genre, or this is the thing. But then they end up buying more because they're in the shop, the boutique, they're looking around, the music's going, the vibe is happening, they're enjoying themselves. That's when they're buying things.
That makes sense. But you're bringing up another parallel with money, which is having vision. You have to have vision for your financial future and you have to have vision for your sex life. And that
Yes.
makes the decisions a lot easier and a lot clearer. Are you ever like, oh, no, 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 don't buy that? This.
If they have expressed certain needs and I've really gotten a lot of information about them, the thing that they may have come in focused on just isn't really going to work for what they need. Often people will go look something up, they'll come in with a list of things from a friend. And so when they talk to me and then they tell me things about them and what they're looking for, I'm like, that isn't really the thing you want. Like, this is how this works. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, this is the thing that might work better for you. Everybody wants a rabbit for some reason, but they want rabbit toys for couples play. And I'm like, but if you're wanting to be penetrated and you buy a penetration toy, are you looking for double the fun? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, yeah. Here.
You answered my next question, which is going to be what is like the most overrated pleasure purchase you see people indulge in?
The rose that went viral on TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a type of air pulse toy, and I understand why it went viral. That genre of toy has been around for like probably since 2011. Womanizer was the first brand to come out with that genre of toy, and then it exploded. The rose went viral because somebody was like, this is amazing. It's just a type of it. In the scheme of air pulse toys, it is my least favorite, in that the way you have to hold it, how you have to use the toy, but it works. And I always say, like, if you're somebody, if you buy an air pulse toy, it's about a 90% chance it's going to get you off there. It's just that type of toy. As somebody who's tried the gamut, because I get a lot of things for free, I don't have to pay for everything. I know, like, from my range, what worked better for me, what didn't work better, what I didn't like. And so I can relay that. I never say, like, oh, I hate that, don't get it. But I'll say, like, okay, if you tell me about your body and you tell me, like, this is the way you're shaped. This particular toy might not work best for you. This one might work better because of the things you've told me about your body shape and how things have to fit on you. But people do come in like, do you have it? And often if they come in, they want it. I'm never talking anybody out of a thing. But if they come in and they stop and they go, oh, are these all the same thing? And I'm like, it's the same type. Let me tell you how they're all different, though.
Dirty Lola, you're being such a tease. Set us up for 2026. What are, if you're comfortable sharing, what are a few of the brands or toys that you think the people out there should know about?
If you want variety, right? I think everyone should have a wand because wands are really versatile. They're great for external play. You can use a wand on a penis. You can use a wand on a clit. Like, they're great for positions because they tend to be longer and bigger. My favorite is Magic Wand. They're the OG. They used to be Hitachi. There's a whole history behind why it's not Hitachi anymore, but it's Magic Wand, and they are classic amazing, and they make different sizes now, and they come rechargeable. The original used to plug into the wall. It still does. They still produce the original, but it only had 2 settings. Fucking no fuck. There are so many other wands. So a wand toy is a great thing to have in your collection. An air pulse toy. My favorite brand is Womanizer. Don't like the names, but love the brand. They're the OG. I like their motors. They have a lot more shapes. I like that you can pull the nozzles off and wash them. And for a lot of them, they sell other sizes. So it's so versatile for everybody's body because, sometimes people buy a thing and then get home and realize, like, oh, this doesn't work. And then can't use it. With Womanizer, you're like, oh, wait, they have a set with different shapes. Let me go and I can pop one on. Great, great, great. Love that. For your handheld toys, if you're somebody who's like, I like a lighter touch, I don't want it to be crazy, but I want something that works well, it is also cute. I love Dame. Dame is a brand. They are women owned. They're New York. I think they were the first company to be able to crowdsource for a toy. Their stuff is really aesthetically pleasing, but it's got a good range for those of us who, well, not me, I am not a sensitive girl. I like power, but who are like, I don't need a lot, but I want something that can go up to a level and then we'll stop and not go too crazy. And everything is really lovely. Of those, my favorite is the Dip, which is their budget-friendly version toy that they made. They make some toys that are $200, and then they have some things that are like under 50, which is lovely. But I love the Dip. That one I didn't think I was going to love it because it doesn't really get up there in power, but it works. And it's compact and it's pretty and it's easy to take with you when you're traveling. It's really great.
So you said Magic Wand, Womanizer, Dame.
Those are great.
And then maybe something small that's like what, travel friendly?
All of those brands I just listed make travel friendly versions of their toys. So like Magic Wand makes a micro. Dame, all of Dame's toys are small, on the smaller side. They do have a wand, but they make things that are smaller. And then unless we're venturing over into butt stuff, that's your, like, just your category. Just to have like something small for partner play that you can fit between you. A wand can be versatile. It can be used alone. It can be used with a partner. Great for doing positions. Air pulse toys are just fun. I call them a surprise party in a waiting room because it just hits you. Suddenly you're like, oh my God. Like, this is a thing. Yeah.
Besides power, is there, I'm curious, asking for a friend actually, is there a like luxury tier of sex that is available that maybe we don't even know? You know how they say vanilla? Is there something that sex toys unlock that's a different tier of luxury sex?
Luxury and sex toys tend to gear toward like packaging, marketing, and aesthetics of the toy, right? They still adhere to the same shapes, similar shapes. Some of them have more proprietary shapes. Lelo is a company that is steeped in luxury, right? Everything they make comes beautifully packaged. All of their toys are designed a certain way. They do have a lot of things that they've become kind of just like common shapes within the industry, right? So they have a lot of common shapes, but they've put their own spin on it. And then what makes it luxe is they have a 10-year warranty. So you have a 1-year full warranty, a 10-year warranty that covers like for half the toy. You have to like register your product. that is when you start getting into
Okay.
things. Yeah. And then
Okay.
we talked about teledildonics, and things that can talk to each other. There's like a whole other category.
It sounds like at a whole nother level.
It's such a broad industry. Like when you walk into a store, you are seeing the tip of the iceberg. Even in the biggest store, the sex toy industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's so many different companies. Now we're having monopolies within the sex toy industry because companies have started forming conglomeration. Like Love Honey
Who
Group
would have thought?
owns Womanizer, so with Love Honey, this is the stuff I nerd out about. But there is like finance, right? It's tied into.
Absolutely.
They're all companies, so a lot of them aren't even competition anymore. They're all a part of like the same home company. And really, like, it comes down to aesthetic.
I can imagine people come in and they're like interested, but then if the packaging, it kind of tips them over to like, oh, okay, maybe I'll get that one. That I like how it looks or how it feels more luxurious.
People want that luxe feel. They want the color of it.
Yeah, it's not just which is going to be the best orgasm. I want the total experience. And again, I am not advertising shag, but I actually have been in the store and many years before I knew you, and it is beautiful and it is a more elevated experience. If you're in Williamsburg, you should go by. Dirty Lola, leave us with your number one rule for better sex.
Ooh, it's gonna be boring. No,
But the sex won't be.
No, but communicate. Do some homework before, like having that talk the night before, whatever, the week of, whatever your connection moment. Making time, right? That's not in the bedroom. Don't have these talks when you're about to have sex because you're going to make each other. Something might happen. Sometimes it might be wonderful and add to it, and sometimes you might have feels and have to think about it. But set up a separate night. Get cozy on the couch. Pour some wine. Pour some tea if you don't drink. And sit down and talk about some things that you've been interested in. I remember when I found kink, it was in a book. And I was so afraid to like talk about it with my then husband because I was like, I think this is turning me on and this is not how we have sex. And I would like to have sex like this. But to have the conversation, like sit down, what are we exploring? What if it like what's interesting to you?
What a great parallel, another great parallel to finance.
Money,
communicate.
yes.
That was a perfect note to leave us on. Actually, before I let you go, that was awesome. Thank you. Truly, communication is key to everything in life. Okay, before I let you go, we do a thing called Best Bite. I'm a big foodie. And I'm always on the hunt for a new place to check out. You're in my neighborhood-ish, so I'm very excited to know from you. What is one of the best things you've eaten recently? I want you to give me your can't-miss recommendation for where I need to go and what I need to try.
It's a little divey. The best burger I've ever had is the Commodore.
Okay.
It's not far from the shop. Their burger, it's the bun. I usually hate burger buns because they're boring, like they're not good. The bun, the burger, all the things on it, the way it's constructed, it doesn't fall apart. It's so good. Just like everything is so good. I have never had a burger be the thing but if somebody goes, I'm like, oh, you got to go to the Commodore. Their fries are abundant and tasty.
Would you call it orgasmic?
Yes. The first time I had it, I just sat there and just moaned.
Oh man, that's too good. The Commodore, the burger. It's funny, I was just having a conversation with a couple who went through top lists of burgers in New York, and every week they'd go to a different burger joint. I love a good burger. So I know, what a fun date night. Always on the hunt for a good burger. So thank you so much. I'm definitely going to go check it out at the Commodore Burger and Fries. Wonderful. Where can people find you, follow you, your journey, all the things? Give us your handles. Tell us where to go. How do we stay in touch, Dirty Lola?
You can find me on Instagram under Dirty Lola. I'm also on Threads because of that, also under Dirty Lola. And you can check out my site, dirtylola.co. Message me through any of those avenues, and I always message back.
Wonderful. Really appreciate it. You've truly given a new meaning to the F word today on the show. Thank you so much for being here and just bringing a fresh voice, perspective, openness, judgment-free zone. We both agree money and sex should obviously benefit from more conversation. Those of you listening, if today's episode helped you see things through a new lens, or if you're feeling inclined, please share this episode, share the love, pun intended. As always, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if you liked this one, leave us a review, a rating. It really helps us grow the show, reach more people. So we appreciate it. All right. That's it for today. See you next time.
You're listening to the F Word for anyone ready to maximize their money in their 30s so they're not stuck playing catch up in their 40s. Because waiting to make more doesn't fix bad money habits. It just amplifies them. This stuff wasn't taught in school, so subscribe and get it right once and for all.
Thanks for listening to The F Word with Priya Milani. If you like what you heard, hit subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a review while you're at it. We're approval junkies. Don't forget, you can find a ton of great resources, content, courses, and other freebies at stashwealth.com. Now, for the capital S stuff our lawyers want us to say. Stash Wealth is a registered investment advisor. Content presented is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to make an offer or solicitation for any specific securities, product, service, or strategy. Consult with a qualified investment advisor, that's us, before implementing any strategy. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. There, we said it.
Can I have that up?